G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we are on Gorge to watch two of the world's best players fight it out on the ranked ladder. Today we've got two civilizations. You may recognize them. They are new civilizations, new variant civilizations that have just dropped in the brand new expansion. So let's go ahead and introduce our players and get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the north of the map in the color red, playing as the Knights Templar, the brand new French variant, we've got Myriad. And in the south of the map, in the color purple, playing as the House of Lancaster, the English variant, representing Team Liquid, we've got Demu. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. A pleasure to have your company here today as we explore how the meta is developing for these two civilizations. Of course, these civilizations have only just dropped in the last couple of weeks, so we're still working out their strengths, their weaknesses, who's overpowered, who's underpowered, and at the moment it definitely seems like House of Lancaster is still probably a little bit strong. So curious to see exactly how Demu looks to utilize them today. And if you are enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, I encourage you, make sure you go down below and hit that like button. It really helps out the traction of the videos. And let's talk a little bit about Knights Templar. This is a civilization that I think for many people, I don't know about you guys, but initially when House of Lancaster came out, I was like, yeah, man, this looks like it. And now that Knights Templar has been out for a while, I tell you what, I'm enjoying it quite a bit more than House of Lancaster. There's just the replayability of the Knights Templar. It just feels quite a bit better. The fact that you're able to just really flex into your different age ups, and you can feel quite a bit of value from that. So I'm curious to see which way Myriad looks to play it here. I would suspect he probably goes into the Kingdom of France, but we'll wait and see exactly what the play is, because at the moment it feels like about 90% of the games that we watch that players are going into the Kingdom of France. So we'll keep an eye on that. On the side of Demu, I would suspect that he goes into the Lancaster Castle, although we could potentially see an Abbey. I'd be surprised if it was an Abbey. We haven't really been seeing a whole lot of them. And indeed it is going to be the Lancaster Castle put on the gold vein. He's got the 3 vills down here, moving out towards the stone as well. So that indicates it's obviously going to be a manor opening today. I'm curious to see how many he looks to put down, whether it's going to be a 6 or whether it's going to be a 9, because normally on the other side, it's going to be a fast second town center for Myriad. His age up should be coming through shortly. If we click on the town center, yeah, it's going to be the Kingdom of France. So no real surprises there, and quite an early age up. So not actually, normally what we'd see is we'd see players delay by 1 villager, because I would actually say this is, you know, keep in mind, these are Conqueror 3 players, but this is an objective mistake. And the reason why it's an objective mistake is because you're going to age up here at 3 minutes 40, and you're not going to be able to afford to build your town center. So essentially, you could have had an extra 20 seconds where, or rather not even an extra 20 seconds, it's an extra 60 seconds. I think, actually, let me math this out. 60 seconds, technically an extra 80 seconds. Is that right? Surely that's not right. We'll just go with an extra 60 seconds. You could have had an extra 60 seconds of gathering on a single villager, which works out to be, you know, like 40 stone, 40 wood, probably a little bit more wood than that, but it basically means that you're delaying your town center by doing this, because you're not going to get any advantage upon that age up. And of course, once you've aged up, you know, you're going to be able to train villagers again, but the argument is that that villager should be before the age up. That way you're able to be gathering resources that entire time that you're aging up. So you'll see now the age up comes through 3 minutes 40. Not a bad little timing here, but at the same time, you know, there's nothing here that we can do. So I think that's one of those big mistakes that players make. And, you know, keep in mind, Myriad's an incredibly good player, and it's one of those things that people will eventually realize, oh, yeah, no, that like, it's one of those things where it's not even really up for discussion. I'm curious to see if there's, no, you know what, there's absolutely no way. Hold on. 4 minutes. It's still a pretty good timing that he's got, but as I've said, you know, you can see right here, 4:05. It's a good second TC time. Where does he look to put this? Is he going out over here? This isn't a bad spot, actually. Big gold as well as the deer. He's also got the boar that he can lure in. That's a beautiful little spot that he's going to have for that town center. So he'll be very happy with that. Let's check in with Demu, see how he's doing on the south side, as the age ups have come through for both of these players now, and we do see the manor is making its way into completion. He'll be looking to try and get this right before this villager comes out. You can see he's got the timing absolutely perfectly worked out. And now looking to add in more manors, and quite a few villagers on gold already. He's actually rallying out to gold, which is kind of curious. We normally don't see this, but I guess this basically means he's looking to play a little bit more of a economic style. He's looking to try and get up to, at the very least, 6 manors. And the whole idea here is that he wants to be gaining his condensed land practices as quickly as he possibly can so that he can increase the amount of menace that he's got. Because he's got a base of 3 menace, and this is going to bring him up to a base of 6 menace. Not a base of 6, but a total of 6 that he can build. So I suspect that's probably going to be the play here. You can see he's about to afford having that 3rd one through. So a little bit slow on getting that 3rd mana in, but does scout out the 2nd town center. He's going to be coming down here for Myriad, and I'm curious to see what his response is, because my response to this would it's almost tempting to just say, maybe you should go for a 2nd town center as well. And I wonder if we'll start to see players do that, where they go for a 3 mana opening into a 2nd town center. That way you're kind of getting the burst, and at the same time you're also gathering up a huge amount of stone. But when you think about it, is it just better to go for a 2 TC or even just a 3 TC play? Maybe that's the option. But I'm wondering what the kind of timings that we're going to see here from these players with their castle ages, whether or not they're going to be looking to get a couple of units out. And it does look like Myriad, he's moving a little bit more heavily into wood. We do see the mill coming down towards the south, so we'll be looking to get things like survival techniques in as soon as possible. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a stable that gets thrown down, and looking to put pressure on. It's kind of hard to put the pressure on the gold. And actually, when we look at it like from this perspective, where do you really apply pressure to the House of Lancaster? Realistically, you've got 10 sheep underneath the town center, and there's obviously more that are under there. You've also got the gold, which is incredibly well defended in this little pocket position here. How do you possibly hit this civilization? How do you cause damage here? And I think Demi might even be going for the 2nd tier of the open field system, because he's got so many vills on gold at the moment, and these are some pretty decent timings that he's actually going for. Normally when I'm looking to try and play this civilization, I'm trying to max out my manas as quick as I can, in the sense that I want to hit 3 as quick as I can, and then I want to hit 6 as quick as I can, and then I want to hit 9. But it looks like Demu's just trying to get that cap as quickly as possible. So we've got plenty of vills on gold here for the opening, and quite a bit of a passive opening here. Vills now going to start moving out as well from the food over towards the manas, starting to build these up. This is going to be the 5th mana that comes down, and walls now towards the north. Oh, I tell you what, if you haven't already put your feet up and got yourself a drink, make sure you go grab a drink right now. Put your feet up, because it looks like we are in for a long game right here. These two players are very much preparing for the late game. 2nd town center up for both of them, or rather 2nd town center up for Myriad. Huge focus on the economy on the south side, so both of them looking to focus on that economy, and it is going to be the open field system. Very early open field system here. I'd love to see what the timings are for that final mana to be coming down, because at the moment he's only got 5 manas, right? So he doesn't even have the full 6 that you would normally have. So a little bit behind on that mana count. We can see that he's got still just a handful of vills back here. So he's also looking to upgrade going into the demi-lancers. I did see that come out just for a little bit of time. So might be aware that there are potential raids on the side that could be coming through. Of course, we've already got the 2 Chevaliers out, the unique French commandery unit that is now going to be applying pressure. Now, Demu doesn't spot this, but he does have the scout that's moving out towards the front of the base, which should intercept, and indeed does see that. He will have to make visual contact, though, because I suspect that he probably did. He moved it around a little bit, so he should be well and truly aware of that, and indeed, he spots them on the way back here. Still got quite a bit of stone that he needs to gather up here. You can see he still needs about an extra 20, but he should be able to tank up at least 1 or 2 charges with that scout. And as long as he's got that 300, now he can pull the vills off stone. There we go. He hands in. He's got everything he needs. 845, and he is going to muster the nobles here. So we do see he's got 8 manas. So technically, this one's still building. So it's not going to be providing that extra bonus to the demi-lancers. So he only gets 8, or rather 9 demi-lancers here, which is a good amount of demi-lancers. Don't get me wrong. That is a very formidable amount, but towards that south side, you can see he's got a little bit of trouble here. Demi-Lance is going to be able to reinforce, and at the moment, from the perspective of Demi, I mean, everything is just really played perfectly. I think he's done an incredible job. I think the only way that you possibly could have worked this out a bit better was just timing in that last mana a little bit faster. But other than that, I mean, it's one of those very small details compared to Myriad, where your opening was definitely a little bit subpar. But I mean, realistically, these guys still learning their civilization, still going to take some time to get there. And for the most part now, we do see Demu. He's going to be forced back away from the other side of the map. Vill count is starting to climb in favor of Myriad. He's up 8 villagers at the moment. Also working in quite a bit of spearmen, which is interesting because it might mean that he could potentially push the enemy. But look at this. Before the 10-minute mark now, we've got Demu aging up with the King's College. He's got every single mana in 9 manas. This is the perfect House of Lancaster game that we are watching right now. We are witnessing it. I think that when it comes to terms of power, this is exactly how to play them. This is 100%. When you're up against 2TC especially, this is the way to do it. I'd love to see from Demu a second town center added in. He doesn't need to add it in straight away, but around like the 15-minute mark. So maybe look to try and get your bonus damage on your knights, try and get a couple more knights out on the map, maybe even some hobblers. And then from there, look to pick up relics. And then after that, you can look to add in that second TC. I think that makes the most sense here in this situation. But the age up is now starting to come through from Myriad as well. It's going to be the Republic of Genoa, which is going to increase the amount of gold that your pilgrims are generating. Keep in mind, pilgrims have only just started migrating down, or pilgrimaging. I'll say migrating. The pilgrims probably don't migrate, though, do they? The pilgrims go on a pilgrimage. But they've only just started making their way down here. Age up on the other side. King's College now online, and with that, expect to see the Collar of SS coming in shortly. I wouldn't be surprised if we also have a whole bunch of knights that come out shortly. Do we have some stables drop down yet? No stables. In fact, a double monastery and an archery range. Very interesting decision here. Not what I expected. Normally, I would expect like a double stable out from this, but instead opting into the archery range. And look at this, immediately going into the Shire Levy. So really looking to put some pressure on early here with the Lancaster Castle Rush. This is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this before. Now, I don't suspect he will, but I wonder how quickly he's going to be looking at an Imperial age here. I'm just thinking out loud. Is there a possibility of a fast Imperial? Probably not. Just judging. Oh, that's a big loss right there. That is a huge amount of villagers that are going to go down here. Takes a massive hit. Unfortunately, didn't have a whole lot of vision out here. And with that, you could see that was the last of the vills moving out towards this gold vein in the south. Collar of SS not going to be through, but that was a massive loss for villagers. About 6 vills just went down there. That's going to be the 7th. And there's the yeoman towards the front. Veterancy now going to be coming through for them as well. I tell you what, when I saw that that upgrade coming through the levy of yeomen, I thought that it was the synchronized shot. I always get the two confused. But this is a huge amount of units, and one of the things to remember is that when you call this many units, when you call the 17 yeomen, you're not necessarily calling them because they're cheap. That you're calling them because you get a whole bunch of them immediately, and you don't have to actually make any production to get them out, right? Like if you think about it, right? Each yeoman here takes 15 seconds to produce, and there's 16 of them. So that means if you had 4 archery ranges, it would take a minute to produce all of these yeomen. So it's quite a decent amount of infantry that you're actually getting from that pop. But now, on the retreat, it's going to be Myriad looking to just get himself out of here. I'm curious to see what other units he's going to look to mix in. We do start to see Templar brothers coming out, so he'll be looking to take advantage of those heavy cavalry units. And I think Demu's going to be a bit cautious at the moment, because obviously no crossbows, no spears, no nothing. A little bit of a wallalol comes through. Extra gold as well. We got to witness that. Myriad now should be able to take this out without too much of a hassle. I'm kind of curious why he's not fighting, because the Demi-Lancers really aren't that strong. He should just be able to overrun this with his cavalry alone. But numbers starting to look quite good for Myriad now as he continues the chase and should be able to clean up the yeoman without too much of a hassle. And you can see he's actually running the spears away just because he doesn't want them to get caught out. But the Myriad's definitely giving quite a lot of respect to Demu's cavalry here. The Demi-Lancers, whenever they charge in it, he gets so scared. You can see the way that he normally was falling back there. But now it looks like he is going to commit to it. Demi-Lancers do have quite a bit of health on them, though. I guess that's one consideration. But you've got to remember that at the same time, the +1 range armor has come through for Myriad as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to clean this up without too much of a hassle. And indeed, it looks like he is finally going to be able to. He was very scared. I think that people are still working out the strength of the Demi-Lancers, and you look at them and you think that they're like, you think it's a knight. It's not a knight, dude. It's not even half a knight. Because you've got to remember, right, like, if we look at a knight, you're talking 24 base damage, and I don't even think he's going to get this, dude. Oh, it's going to be close. It was close. Okay. So the 9 base damage it's good, but then you're like, okay, well, when you consider oh my Hobelar spam, when you consider the armor as well, right? Now all of a sudden you've gone from 9 damage to 5 damage. Okay, so you're only putting out 5 damage, and you compare that to a Templar brother as an example. It's got 24, so 24 minus the 4. Now you're at 20 damage. They've basically got 4x the amount of damage of what a demi-lance has got. So it's one of those really. You got to be careful when you're playing with the demi-lancers to not assume that they're knights, and at the same time, when you're playing against them, don't assume that they're knights, because they are not. But have a look at this. The Hobelar's just really looking to break through behind enemy lines. Quite a few vills up here towards the north there, looking to try and wall themselves in, keep themselves safe for the moment. Hobelar numbers really quite high. 41 Hoblers. My lord, this man is hobbling his way to victory right now. He's obviously picked up the improved production on the Hoblers, as well as that extra charge damage that's now coming through as well. And the Hoblers in the north of the map, unfortunately, don't make their way through. And now over towards that east side. Looks like another potential Wallalol going to be coming off, but the Hoblers not going to allow it. They're going to just stabby their way through. And it's at this point here where I feel like now is a reasonable time to think about going Imperial Age. I love this Hobelar opening. Like, they're so quick, they're so annoying to deal with, and there's so many of them. They're very, very frustrating. And I think if you've got good macro and good good micro and good presence of mind, which obviously Demu does have, you can really make these work quite effectively for you, because look at the number that he's got, right? Like, he's just spamming them out like crazy, gets that extra charge damage coming through. It works out to be an extra, it's 28 damage. That is a huge amount of damage. Plus they get bonus damage against ranged units. Like, that is incredible when you think about it. Why is that so much? I mean, obviously it's the upgrade from the King's College, but at the same time, that is a huge amount of charge damage that they've got. And now charging through onto that Pilgrim. One still remains. A little bit of a raid behind the scenes as well. Templar brothers looking to try and take out those wood gatherers. And now over towards the east side, you can see he's looking for the gold vills. Not going to be able to find them, but really looking to raid the enemy to death at this point. Both players, in fact, really looking to do that. And oh my lord, look at the beautiful micro that comes out from Myriad to get these walls down right on time. He's also got walls over to the west. We saw him wall in the vills over towards the north earlier as well. He's having an absolute wonderful game today with these little villagers, just keeping them all safe. It looks like I thought he was going to drop a lumber camp in the middle there. I tell you what, wouldn't be a bad idea. And we hear another relic now getting picked up. It's a 3-2 split for the moment, with Demu holding the advantage. That final relic, of course, we'll have to wait and see. I don't actually know where it was. Was it towards the top side of the map? I think it might be towards the top side of the map, but we'll have to double check and see. So, Demu has spent all of his resources. He's not going to be going Imperial, not anytime soon. Maybe another 5 minutes, maybe another 10 minutes, and have a look at this. We've got a fortress on the way through here. Myriad looking to capture this, secure it up, make it a little bit stronger. Hobelar's coming out, will spot out these Pilgrims once again. First one going to be going down. Second one, he's going to charge onto that and should be able to clean it up without too much of a hassle. And there's 2 Pilgrims and now taken out with a lot of Templar brothers, and this is probably where you might need to react to this. Now, one thing to note is we never saw that second town center come through from Demu, and at this stage he should still technically be ahead on the economies. So if we, or not the economies rather, but the resources generated. So that's one of the key considerations when you're playing as the House of Lancaster. Oh, that was unfortunate. That was a lot of lost Hoblars there. I mean, Hoblars are kind of replaceable though. That's the other thing. They feel very spammable. But you're going to be running off very, very quickly with the income that you produce with this civilization. The thing is, it does eventually peter out, and civilizations that go for 2 town centers early on will eventually be generating more resources than you. So it's important that you do eventually get that second town center in. I think it's around now is still a perfectly fine time for it to happen. Crossbow numbers starting to build here as well for Demu. He's up to 9 crossbows now. Definitely the right call. Yeoman's starting to move out as well. He's picked up the synchronized shot, so keep an eye out for it in this game. He could look to try and put on a lot of pressure, and have a look at the military difference between these guys. 60 versus 28. Myriad, of course, going into a little bit more of a heavy military unit composition. He's moving into Templar brothers, which are more expensive than your average Lancer or Knight. We do now start to see Knights coming out as well for Demu. A lot of upgrades are through already. He's picked up all the eco upgrades that you could require or that you could need. And we see another fortress now coming down on the front side. Only 9 villagers building it. Does Demu spot it? Demu doesn't spot it, so he can't intervene just yet. It looks like he might be moving towards this north sacred site. He's about to have a rude shock as the fortress reveals itself, and immediately Demu says, oh, that's not good. That's not good. We don't like that. A lot of production still back here, though. He's got 5 stables that we see. Blacksmith is back here. Phil's down towards the south. He's rallying in a couple of monks. They're going to get caught out of position. We start seeing more upgrades on the way through. The rule of Templars as well as treasure towers coming through on that east side of the map. We'll do a quick stock take and see what the resource count is at the moment. About 3.8k, 3.9k for Myriad. And on the side for Demu, definitely quite a bit below that, about 3k. So already Myriad is starting to pull ahead at the 20-minute mark, and I think that's largely contributed to the power of the Knights Templar villager, a very strong villager. He's also generating quite a bit of gold through his pilgrims, but the Hobelar's behind the scenes. Gonna get cleaned up by the cavalry for the moment. Myriad, of course, got plenty of walls that have come up. He's done a wonderful job with the defense so far. Plenty of resources still out here to be had. I'd love to see a little bit more of a cohesive defense, so a large wall across the front would definitely be quite helpful, especially considering how annoying and frustrating these Hobelars are, but villagers on the south side going to get caught out of position. Fortunately, there are knights down here to intercept. Keep in mind, they're up against these stronger Knights, Templar brothers. They've got a bit more health on them, but still, obviously, when they're outnumbered like this, it shouldn't be too difficult for Demu to clean these up. Only 3 of them remaining now. And back towards the middle of the map, we start to see another fortress coming up. So Myriad putting down a myriad of fortresses here. We've seen the first one come up on the sacred site, the second one safely back at base, and the third one now going to be up in the middle of the map, in the center of the map. And now it looks like Demu might be thinking about going Imperial Age. Definitely around this timing makes quite a bit of sense. He's got a number of options as well when it goes. So obviously going to be going Wingard here. I don't think you'd be going Berkshire. Berkshire, of course, makes a lot of sense for normal English, but I think for this English, for House of Lancaster, it just feels like Wingard. You get so much value out of it with the Hobelars as well. The fact that the ability for you to just spam them like crazy is wonderful. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that. But now moving down, nice little defense once again. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to clean up. Horsemen behind the lines. Demu obviously knows they're back here. They've broken through this wall, so he's looking to try and intercept, looking to try and find where they are, and they've managed to skirt around the outside of the map. Meanwhile, over towards the west side, we still have that cleanup coming through. And now those horsemen finally able to break through enemy lines, and of course, Demu's gone a little bit too far, and now only just realizing that, hey, hold on a minute, we got to defend here. By the way, have a look at the size of this army for Demu. 84 against 28. Kingdom of Poland on the way for Myriad. Demu about to click up as well. I wouldn't be surprised. He's got a whole bunch of gold ready to go here. Hopefully he looks to pick up an early scootage. We have not seen many players actually picking up scootage. I think it's probably because it's quite an easy thing to forget. And speaking of easy to forget, I tell you what, this coffee that my wife has just brought me is not easy to forget. Thank you very much, honey. It's nice and early in the morning, and she just brought me through a coffee. So shout out to her. Not at all easy to forget. It is a delicious, and it is going to be a Wingard on the side of Demu. So we did have Kingdom of Poland coming through here for Myriad, so that's going to upgrade his cavalry even more. Still that military advantage in favor of Demu by an absolute country mile. He is more than double his opponent's military population and does manage to clean up that last little bit of horsemen here. And now, back towards the base. Demu going to be spotting out this additional fortress in the middle of the map here. And this is only going to be further cementing in his mind that he needs to get himself some siege out. Age up now comes through. Let's see if we can spot it out. Is it towards the back, towards the bottom, towards the top? That's where he's put it, over here. So immediately we see Tithe Barns coming through as well as Elite Yeomen. So hopefully we see Scootage as well. Come on, give me some Scootage. He's got 3 relics, so probably going to get... There we go. Oh, he actually did it. He cancelled Tithe Barns and got Scootage. Well done, Demu. Honestly, that is really, really good, because I feel like a lot of people kind of forget it. Yeah, well done to him. Now, let me just give you guys a quick taste test on this coffee. Oh, it's big. Oh, it's incredible. Oh, that's such a good coffee. I love my coffees really, really hot. I love a hot coffee. Because if it's warm, even like a little bit too warm, I'll sip it down too fast, man. I just drink them too quickly. But now, pushing forward Demo. Keep in mind, he's got those elite upgrades about to come through. Elite Hobelar also on the way. Ideally, you want to avoid fighting until you've got those elite upgrades. Now, on the side of his opponent, Myriad, no elite upgrades just yet. We do have Genoese crossbowmen that have now joined the battlefield as well, and expect to start seeing some unique cavalry, and that's exactly what we start to see. So, bringing in the Schlatter Cavalry, 385 health on these bad boys. When I look at these, often I just think that they're horsemen. They kind of look like horsemen. The one thing that's giving them away, or giving it away that it's not a horseman, is the fact that it doesn't have that big polearm. Is it a polearm? Is that what it's called? Spear. It's a very long spear. We'll say that. But I mean, I guess that's how it is. That's how it goes. All right, elite upgrades now through for Demo. There's not really a big target for him though when we think about his synchronized shot. Like, what's he using his synchronized shot on? And this is something that this is kind of scary about Myriad's army right now. It's full cavalry. He's double the military population of his opponent, Demo is right now. But how quickly is that going to turn as the cavalry makes its way onto the back line? Meanwhile, fighting over on the fortress, the Schlatter going to try and clean that up as best as it can. Haven't seen a synchronized shot come off just yet. There we go. Short-range synchronized shot. And Demo holds for a little bit longer. Schlatter now going to be coming in over from the right side of your screen, making its way towards all of this ranged infantry, and you can see just how powerful it is. 400 and oh my god, that's so much health, dude. That is so much health. 472 health, dude. That is ridiculous. That's so stupid. I'm sorry, that is crazy, man. Not only do these units just have a really high base health, but of course, obviously, Poland is going to be buffing that up even more. Like, elite Demi-Lancers, we shouldn't compare them to the elite Demi-Lancers. It's not very fair. The Knights have got 230. These guys have got more than double the health of just a standard Knight. That is incredible. That is absolutely absurd. Now, obviously, it's not an elite Knight, but look at, I mean, just look at the numbers. That's absurd. We need to talk about Knights Templar cavalry because, I mean, from the perspective of Demo, I mean, Demo knew that there was cavalry on the field. I guess that's the other thing to note. I'm trying to think of the best way I can defend Demo right now, but I'm really having some trouble. That cavalry is ridiculous. That is just absurd because you're getting the extra charge damage from on that as well. I think it's an extra 50% charge damage. So the Schlatter get 76 lance damage. That's crazy. This civilization is actually wild when you think about it. So I think we've kind of worked out, we've kind of solved this civilization now with regard to age ups, at least in the current meta. The most common development that we see from players is the Kingdom of France into the Republic of Genoa into the Kingdom of Poland. That seems to be pretty much the default go-to now that people have worked out. I don't think we've seen the Hospitaller Knights for a long time. We haven't even really seen Antioch recently. I don't remember the last time we saw the Genitors come out. Angevin. We've seen them a bit recently, not a huge amount though. And then finally in the Imperial Age, we've seen Venice once or twice, and we've seen, we've seen the Teutons a couple of times as well. But I tell you what, when you compare these numbers, I mean, Myriad's just literally spamming out Schlatter cavalry. Something tells me these guys are going to get nerfed. You abuse them while you can, use them while you can. The Schlatter cavalry, he's got 42 of them out. He's literally spamming only. How do you deal with this? Okay, Reboldequins? Reboldequin hand cannoneer spearman? Is that what you need to do? Is that how you play? Oh, he's called the big levy in. But he only had a handful of manners left. He only had the 3 manners left. So the big levy that he's got really didn't do much for him. Reboldequin's going to try and fire off, get a couple of kills through, but they're going to get surrounded, unfortunately, and very quickly cleaned up. And Demu, 29 minutes into this game, is going to tap out. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The game is over. Myriad the victor. And wow, we got to talk about this cavalry. This Polish cavalry is incredible. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, make sure you check out the 2 creators. I'll be leaving links in the description to where you can watch them both live over on Twitch. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.